Welcome, beautiful soul. How are you today? I would like to share my experience, how my life changed, and the things I noticed since I no longer gossip. And if you're watching this video, you're on the path of changing something. And on the end of the video, I give you 3 tips that could help you to stop gossiping just in your daily life. Easy to manage, easy to implement in your life. Society is so used to tolerate gossiping. It is such a toxic thing, and in the end it always leads to negativity. It gives us always the comparing to others, especially under us women. We compare ourselves, we get kind of narky in a way. It just no love. For me, it's just negativity and bouncing against each other. And I wanted to change it. I didn't really want it to have that in my life, and I just made me overall drown it. And in the end, those conversations lead to nothing. They give you no new perspective. You have no nice conversation afterwards where you can think of back when you had them. So yeah, I would highly encourage you to stop doing it, implement the change in you. That's what we're doing today. So welcome back on Ladies Mental. I'm Nina Walzer, and my point number 1, I started to deselect my environment. I deselect the person that I no longer felt positive around. They were drowning me, or they were just talking repeatedly the same thing or about a person, which in the end is the gossip topic we're having here. And when I start to do that, addressing it to that person, I notice the change. I'm surrounding myself with people with the same value, and my value changed. So they're no longer in a path that I wanted to be. So automatically they vanished out of my life, or I intentionally didn't wanted them anymore and addressed why. And if they wanted to change, I was more than happy to accept that. If the change hasn't been happened, yeah, I just avoided them. I know sometimes in a work environment or in a club, it is kind of hard to do that, but you will find a way. You have a new standard and you won't go under it. Peace of mind. It has given me so much of a peace of mind. I have no negative thoughts during the day. I have no barriers. It is like I'm not focusing on something negative. I embrace the positivity of something that I can learn, of someone that's, for me, I have less self-doubt as well. I'm not competing anymore. I noticed that's so a game changer. Like when you're implementing or deselecting a habit, it leads you to peace. You're finding a better version of yourself. You're improving yourself. Instead of competing with someone, you're trying to learn something. You focus on yourself, on how can I be better? How could I improve this situation? Can I help that person? You're in the positive side. Your aspect is leading to a result and not taking out of a result that is not benefiting at all for anyone. I'm no longer comparing myself to others. One of the biggest trait of gossiping is to talk negative about someone, something that they achieved or they do, how they dress, all of that. You no longer value that thing, so you're finding more disgusting. So what I do now is more improvement. I see how I can better myself. Could I act better in that situation? Is there a need to be negative to someone? And I'm reflecting on myself then. Would I like that someone talk about me like that? Is that something that I value? Would I like if someone does that to me? You're going into this perspective of if someone would have talked like that about you, so you're actually bringing that thought back without happening it. And I'm also learning about other women. Instead of being selfish, admiring them, you can learn from them. I started to learn, like ask them, like, hey, what are you doing different? I'm like wandering around and taking all the goods that I can. And it also encouraged me to be more unique. I focus more on myself, so the compare to other is not that relevant anymore. I focus on my own journey, what I can learn, how I change every day, the challenges, and I compare myself more with the person who I was a year ago, and that's what matters, I notice. Why wouldn't I compare myself with someone that is not me? We didn't have the same journeys. We are completely different individuals, so we are not able to compare ourselves. And with social media, that's such a hard thing. That's something as well I stopped, is going too much on social media, comparing myself with an image that I can't really see. You don't really know exactly what's going on behind the camera, and they're just showing the best version of them. Who wants to highlight the small negative drowning things? No, you're highlighting your portfolio on Instagram or any social media when you're on your best performance, and for a reason. We want to share that, we want to have a dialogue in that way. My personality become more kinder, and I give more compliments to others. We give so less compliments in our daily life, and I would say everyone should get more compliments. Is it just a small thing like, hey, you look nice today, hey, what you said is nice? It is small things that matter in life. And I can't say it more than once, is I try to give compliments every day, even to myself. Though, don't forget yourself, girl. You're one of the most important person in your life. When not the most, you will reach a new standard. When you reach that, what I mean is you're having deselect your environment. They're no longer there, so the gossip technically moved, but that doesn't mean just because you think you moved all the person. The problem itself is as well in you. You have to dewire your brain, your thoughts. That takes time, and it wouldn't be like just in a week that change. It is something that we have been, like hardware. You have that, it's so hard in your hardware, and you have to get rid of that. You have to delete it. But for me, I kind of have now like a scanning effect, where I can see people who are gossiping, and it gives me kind of that intuition feeling about them. So I'm automatically sensing them through a test, and they're not coming really in my life anymore. I'm not tolerating that. And they see that too, like it could be a small thing, or you're not really answering to their gossip or joining them. They're like, what is she doing? And you notice that too. So you're not on the same wave, you're on a different level. And if they're not matching you, just move on, or say, okay, that's it, I'm gonna move out of that situation. You are less likely to tolerate it. If that's for someone else, you address it. You will no longer leave it outstanding. You will do something about it. And isn't that great? We can help each other out. And if everyone is more conscious of that journey, we could stop it or minimize it. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? You have no interest in gossip. Literally none. Even if you're watching TV shows or just for conversation, like you're finding it, you're getting sick of it, you're getting annoyed, you're not choosing any TV shows, like any crap TV shows where gossiping, all that drama goes on. I don't know, for me, it's just I don't find enjoyment anymore, and it's more annoying for me. Instead of finding other topics, there's so many topics that we could talk about, but no, instead we are just doing that, which I don't anymore. And now my already 3 points of how can you stop gossiping is starting with your environment. Observe you and your environment. Who are the people you're actually gossiping? Can you name them? Is it a group? Is it maybe days where you're different? Is it the mood that change as well, your behavior? How I like to see it is a bit seeing yourself as a person who is sitting in the crowd and watching a theater. Like you're doing both basically. You're observing yourself from a third person. You're in the crowd, but at the same time you are on stage. So you are multitasking in that way. And for me, that helps. So reflecting everything, I write them down. What are the things I am actually saying when I'm gossiping? Observe your thoughts. What is coming out of your mouth actually? And if you have found that out, who that is or the environment you're in, start to deselect yourself from them. Just walk away, address it. Like, can we talk about something else? You're leading the conversation to something else, or you just walk away. That's the thing. My point number 2 is finding other topics to talk about, leading the conversation to something else. There's so many topics out there where you can talk about. It could be have something in the newspaper, something happened, an event in your town that is coming up, or it started, your neighbor, something that is not too personal and wouldn't affect anyone's emotions in a way of hurting them, like which leads to the gossip train kind of. You can talk about hobbies, the weather. You will find, or movies, like what's the series at the moment that everyone watches that could be interested, getting that topic, finding something that they might join, and that could be implemented in every life situation. Try to lead a conversation to something else when you're bored out of it. Simple as that. Point number 3 is observing yourself. As I said before, having the intuition, it's very hard at the beginning to always track yourself, to observe your thoughts. What are you actually saying when you're saying it? And a tip is write them down. What are the thoughts you're bringing out? If you notice that you start stopping, but just sometimes it happens, it comes out like without that you want it, is write them down. Before you're saying it, just write them down, getting them out of your head, like releasing that. If you're releasing it, you unwire it, it will be just gone. You have it on paper. And most likely you wouldn't even think about when you read that you would say it on paper. It's like black and white. You see it so clearly and you can reflect on that as well. So that are my 3 tips which I can give you on hand where you can implement in all life situation. And from now, that's it for today. Thank you very much. Leave something in a comment what you think about that. What's your struggle with it? And see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.